So yeah, homie poked my birthmark. I have a birthmark on my thigh. It's like a light splotch or whatever, and he was just like he poked it. That means he was watching me, looking at my thighs to the point where, why are you driving? Why are you not watching the road? Why are you looking at my lap? I had on shorts, whatever. It was summertime. He gonna ask me what's that, and touch my thigh, and touch me, ask me what's my birthmark, touch me on my birthmark, and ask me what it is. I was like, sir, like, why are you touching me? Like, I was so confused. No, but that's not the situation. Let me tell you the situation. So that was going on. The car rides were uncomfortable. Homie would touch me in the car, ask me what this was or what that was, just like uncomfortable shit. But that wasn't it. When I would get to the house, my sister would be in the back room, and like every time they would both be in the back room, I would be in the living room watching TV, and he would come out of the room and go get something from the kitchen. And the kitchen is like by the door, so it's like you have to pass the living room to get to the kitchen. He would come out of the room and go to the kitchen, and just when he would come, it was just so awkward. He would just walk so weird. It would just make me so uncomfortable. Like, I had to hold my breath every time he came out of the room. That was getting to that point. Like, I was like, every time he would come out of the room, and going back into the room, he would rub the wall like this, like homie was caressing the wall, almost like. And in my mind, this is what I'm thinking he's doing. Like, I know he's a predator. I know he's a rapist because he's dating an 18-year-old and he's like 70 something, 60 something, 50 something. I don't know. And it's just like he's trying to like gauge me into something. Like, he's trying to get me to agree to something with him, to do something with him. And at this time I'm like 14, 15, 16. I think it was before the age of 16. So I'm either 14 or 15. And homie is doing this stuff, like rubbing the wall or caressing the wall, touching me in the car, asking me personal questions about boys. Just weird shit. But that wasn't the pinnacle of it. The pinnacle of it was I was spending the night one day. And I don't know why I was over there at the house. Still spending the night, but for some reason I never thought, like, I was so innocent. Like, I just never thought a nigga would do such a thing. Like, so I'm spending the night at their house or whatever, and everything's good until I spend the night at their house or whatever. So I'm spending the night at their house. I can't even get this shit out. So I'm on the couch, sleep, and I remember jumping up out of my sleep, like violently jumping up out of my sleep. And guess who I see when I wake as soon as I open my eyes? I see this man and stoop down in front of me. Granted, he did have a fan. The fan was being plugged in. I'm trying to be so careful with what I say, because when I told my family about the situation, they have told me I'm a liar so much that they told me I lied so much that I started to believe that I was lying. So I kind of remixed the situation in my head. But to me, this is what happened. I was sleeping, and this nigga was face to face with my crotch, eye to eye with my crotch, stooped down to my crotch, in front of my crotch. I had on a t-shirt and little boy shorts that my sister had given me. People were saying I didn't have on panties, that I just had on a t-shirt. Now, if that was the case, if I'm wearing your clothes, why would you give me a shirt and not a bottom? So if I just so I would just be wearing a big t-shirt and no panties in your house with your man, if that was the case. Now it makes sense to me. Like now I could say that and string that sentence together. But before I was just like, what? I was so small. I just didn't understand. Mind you, I was innocent. I had stopped masturbating because I felt like it was wrong. I was so hypersexual as a baby. Like as a 6-year-old, I would masturbate with screwdrivers, the tip of the screwdriver. Just every second I got, every chance I got, I would just masturbate. And I had to stop doing that. I would slow down, I stopped masturbating so much. Stopped watching porn so much. Just to clear my head, just to get a little bit of me, a sense of me. So at this time, like I was like not masturbating, not doing a lot of sexual things to myself because I wasn't dating anybody else. I wasn't kissing anybody else. Nothing like that. The dudes would try to kiss me or try to go out with me. I would get very, very, very. I would get a lot of anxiety and not do it. Like I would cry and just not do it. So I wasn't entertaining nobody at this time. And I didn't have sex until I was 18. Until I was 18 in school. So I wasn't entertaining somebody no time soon either because of the trauma. So yeah. So I wake up, I jump up out of my sleep violently, and this dude is eye to eye with my crotch. And then he starts moving around, like he immediately turns and starts shuffling around with the fan and stuff to my arm, putting in the fan. I'm putting the fan in because I think you're hot. Some shit, he says some stupid ass in the window to me. I'm putting the fan up because it's hot out here, or some shit like that. But then that's not where it ended. The weird part for me was like, he went and sat down on the kitchen island, which is across from the living room, directly across from where I was sitting. So I sit up, I bunch up my legs and I sit up and I'm just like sitting there stoically like this, like this. Sitting there like this with my legs up on the couch. And he's across from me, watching me, just watching me. My sister's in the room asleep. My nephew's in the room asleep. And he's just sitting there watching me. And then finally he turns the computer on. He had one of these computers that was like mounted to the wall and you could swivel it each way. The laptop face this way or that way, like you could swivel it. And connected to the kitchen island, like a square cut out from the living room to the kitchen. And he just swiveled, he turned on the computer and then swiveled swiveled. I think that's why I'm like phones pointing in my face. That's why I have this anxiety about phones and shit. Anytime somebody's holding up a camera towards my direction, I get so mad, and I think it's because of this situation. Yeah, that makes sense. See? When you talk your truth, some shit connect in your head. Like, you sometimes gotta put people, gotta expose niggas for you, for your own house. That's what I'm doing. I'm just exposing this nigga. Yeah, so he swivels the laptop face so it's facing me, so the light of the laptop is facing me so he can see me and I can't see him. All I see is a bright fucking light, and it's dark. It's in the middle of the night. It's literally in the middle of the night. And I remember sitting up, staring at this nigga, and he's staring at me until the sun came up. No funny shit. From the middle of the night until the sun came up. So if you wasn't doing nothing to me, if I'm wrong and you never did anything to me and you wasn't doing anything to me at that time, why sit up for that long and watch me? It was almost like he was trying to ensure that I didn't remember, or ensure that I was too scared to say anything about what happened. Because it's like, whatever he did it to me in my sleep. I don't remember, or I repressed it. But I woke up with this nigga face to face with my crotch, like his head by my vagina. That's how I woke up, and I woke up violently, so too. Like I didn't stumble up and princess wake up like, I didn't wake up like that. I woke up like this. So, yeah, I already know what time it is. homie was doing something, or looking, or taking pictures, or whatever the fuck weirdos do. So yeah, and we stood up the whole night looking at each other until the sun came up. Finally, the sun comes up. My sister comes out of the room, sees the situation, looks at me, looks at him, and goes, "Why y'all sitting up without the TV on?" Or some dumb shit she said. But she got immediately angry because she already knew what time it is. She's fucking this nigga, so she know. Like, anyway, years later, I didn't tell my sister that day. I just said, I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. And mind you, me and my sisters have very good eye contact. Like, we would make jokes and shit and look at each other like this. Like, I gave her that look, and she gave me the look, and then I saw her blank out and just like choose. I saw her choose. I watched her choose ignorance. So that's why I don't fuck with her like that to this day. But I love her. I don't love her happiness. But I'm now at that age, and I'm now at the age she was at, and I see why she could just choose ignorance. I see the dick makes you crazy. So I see why she chose ignorance. It wasn't her. It was the it was the spirit imbued in her from this old ass man, who had numerous partners before this 18-year-old beautiful innocent girl. So yeah, that's the trauma I was crying about the other day. The couch. You came up on the couch because it's literally called the couch, and this shit happened on my sister's couch. Yeah, so I was crying like a baby because of it. Because it's like I can't even fuck. I don't have a sister no more. Like, I don't have a sister. That was my big sister. Like, she's 11 years older than me. She basically raised me. That was the person. That was like my mom. My mom was on some fuck shit, abusing people, beating people up, and she was my refuge from that. Like, she was my, and I know it's a trauma bond now, but at that time she was just like the love of my life, like just the love of my life. And I remember being even smaller, because when she was 18, I was, how old was I? Okay, so she's 11 years older than me. So 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I was 7 at the time when this nigga came to get my sister from the shelter. And like, he would come into the shelter, our shelter room, and bring gifts and bring money, just on some predator shit. On some casual predator shit. Just come and bring gifts and money to my sister, and come in the room and speak to my sister. I don't know why my mom was allowing this shit to happen. I think my mom had been so beat up by life that she thought that this was a good option for her daughter. And my mother was just so out of it that she couldn't help nobody. But yeah, so I remember when he came to the house, I felt this horrible feeling about him. I felt horrible about him, and I was always trying to protect my sister. Like, I was always saying, he would come into the room, the door would be open, but I wouldn't allow her to be alone with him, because I just knew he wasn't a good person. I wasn't a good man. I was an amazing dirty character at this time. Like, niggas would come to the house, people would come to the house, I would look at them in their eyes, and like, I would be to this day, I'm still a good dirty character. Like, yeah, he gave me bad vibes from day one. And I tried to protect my sister, my older sister, from day one. And when it came time for her to protect me, she did. She said I was lying. She said that I was making up lies, and she knew the truth because she was crying. Like, if this happened on a phone call or whatever, she's on the phone with my mother. I called. Well, basically, I went home after that. I went home after the incident happened. I went home. I didn't tell my sister because I saw my sister choose ignorance in her eyes. I saw her leave. So I'm like, okay, I can't tell this bitch nothing. She's not gonna be on my side. It's gonna be way worse than I want. So I don't want to be involved in this shit. Like, I was trying to, my objective was to get out of the house as fast as possible and as smoothly as possible, because I already saw sis, what time sis was on and what time he was on with the manipulation. So I was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna have this. So I went home and I told my mom, and I ain't just tell my mom. I told my mom in front of all my sisters and all my brothers, my one brother. I told them then, and I wasn't even gonna tell. Like, I was gonna hold it down. Like, in my mind, at first, the first chance I was like, I'm gonna hold it down and not tell nobody. Because the next morning she came and told me she was pregnant, her second baby by this morning. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna tell nobody. But that shit just slipped out. God told. I didn't tell. God told. Because I remember I was sitting down at the table in the shelter. My family was just like, everybody was just in the room. I don't know what we was doing, and I was just like, so and so tried to rape me, and that's what I said, and that's what I said, and that's what I stick by. Homie tried to rape me in my sleep. And he did whatever he wanted to do. Yeah. And it just slipped out. Like, when Ariel's voice got taken out of her voice, got taken out of her mouth. That's how it was. Like, it shit just slipped out. Like, just got pulled out. Like, it got, and my voice came out so clear and shit. And I was just like, so-and-so tried to molest me, tried to rape me. Tried to sexually assault me. That's what I think I said. I said rape, and then I said sexually assault. And then my mother turned to me and was like, what happened? And I told them. And the next day or so, I don't know how many days it was, but like shit got hectic right after that. I don't know how many days it was after that, but my sister my mother was in the tub, and my sister was on the phone. And I was telling the story about what happened to my sister. And she said, and then my mother was like, because I don't play these games, I don't have men around my daughters. I don't keep men around my daughters. None of this shit ever happened to any of my daughters. Basically blaming my sister for it. My sister was like, yes, you did. So that's when it came out that my father molested my sister. So she was like, yes, you did. Like, you had niggas around me. So it was just trauma on top of trauma. But I'm still grateful for that to this day. Because if she never married a predator, if she never got with a predator, and that predator never tried to touch her little sister, then she wouldn't have been able to express the fact that she was molested as a child. So, I don't know. God sends his strongest warriors to do his dirty work. Not dirty work, but the work needed in order to heal our community. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the instance of that I remember. That's what's hurting me. And I remember addressing it too. Like, I remember I came to the house. I was in the middle of the midst of my struggle, in the midst of my trauma. I was in and out of the hospital. I was wandering New York City, being crazy, bugged out, fucking random niggas, homeless niggas. I was just out of it and doped up on lithium and all these horrible drugs, harsh drugs from the hospital, all these opioids. And I remember going to the house and telling her that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for like expressing that outwardly. I don't know what I said, but I know it was an apology. But I know I looked at this man. I apologize to my sister. And then I looked at this man and I was like, I touched his shoulder. And I was like, he was sitting down on the couch. And I touched his shoulder and I was like, I didn't know we had that relationship. That's what I remember saying to him. Like, I just didn't know we had that relationship. And this nigga went so still for a split second. He got so scared for a split second. Anyway, this nigga's trash. Tried to forgive him. Forgiveness is not for everybody. Forgiveness is not for every situation. Some people don't deserve forgiveness. Forgiveness is not always necessary for healing. That's a misnomer. that people think that you got to forgive. Some shit would be insane to forgive, and I'm crazy, but I'm not insane. So yeah, that was my sexual. That's my sexual trauma story. I'm gonna post this. Oh, I just woke up, but I had to express this shit because it's not gonna be waiting. I have a baby. Of my own with a man of my own that is older than me. That is 14 years my senior, and it's getting too fucking mirrory for me. I can't do it no more. Like I gotta break the cycle because it's looking too similar to me. It's getting too fucking real for me. Like, I had my baby at the same age she had her baby, and I don't know why. Like, it's something psychologically I'm stuck on her, and because it wasn't him that took my innocence in my mind, you know, which it is. In all reality, he was the one who did it. It's her, and I think that's how he manipulated us in order to get it, like to pin us against each other almost. In my mind, she's the one who broke my trust. She's the one who broke my innocence. Like, I don't care what this stranger does to me because he's a stranger, but I care what my sister, my flesh and blood does to me. And if my flesh and blood tells me I'm lying and chooses a man over her baby sister that she raised, that she knows better than supposedly knows better than